Hi, everyone. It's Dr. G. Welcome back to the Sociology Experience. And so in this video, I would like to talk to you about social structure and social interaction. Let's go ahead and get started. Sociologists use two levels of analysis, macro and micro. Macro sociology places emphasis on the broadest features of society. For example, we can think of social class and how groups are related to one another. Microsociology, on the other hand, emphasizes the smallest parts of society. Social interaction is understanding what people do when they come together. So in essence, the focus is on face-to-face interaction. All right, we cannot adequately understand humans without using both macro and micro sociology. Let's start with a macro sociological approach and look at social structure. Social structure refers to any relatively stable pattern of social behavior. Another way of defining social structure is the relationship of people and groups to one another, the characteristics of groups, all which give direction to and set limits on behavior. There are 6 major components of social structure, including culture, social class, social status, roles, groups, and social institutions. So let's take a look at each of these, starting with culture. And culture is the broadest framework that determines what kind of people we become. And culture includes things like language, beliefs, values, and behaviors. Social class is based on someone's income, education, and occupational prestige. Not only do others have different expectations for us based on our social class, for example, upper class or working poor, we see the world differently and have different expectations for ourselves. Social status refers to the position that someone occupies in society or a social group. And there are 2 types of statuses, ascribed and achieved. Ascribed statuses refer to a social position a person receives at birth or takes on involuntarily later in life. Examples include son, a native-born Norwegian, and a female. Achieved statuses refers to a social position a person takes on voluntarily that reflects personal ability and effort. Examples include doctor, student, and even drug dealer. Now, social statuses also will bring up another concept, and that's what we call a status set. And that is defined as all of the statuses or positions that an individual occupies. So if I was to use myself as an example, my status set would include being a son, a brother, a husband, an uncle, a homeowner, a professor, and a volunteer. Another important concept that comes up for statuses is what's called a master status. And a master status is defined as a status that has special importance for social identity, often shaping a person's entire life. Examples would include being a woman, someone who has a major disability, or a member of the LGBT community. Social roles are the behaviors, obligations, and privileges that are attached to a status. So the difference between a status and a role is that you occupy a status, but you play a role. So, what do you do as a student, which is a status? You study, you read, you take tests. Those are all roles. We want to bring up two other important concepts when it comes to roles, and that's role strain and role conflict. Role strain is when you, as a student, one single status, you have conflict within a role. Okay, so as a student, you can either choose to do well on an exam or you can choose not to do well on an exam, but that causes strain, role strain. Role conflict is when you have conflict between roles. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you see you, and you have three different statuses. You are a worker, you are a student, or you are a son or daughter. And as a worker, you can go in to work because they need you immediately. As a student, you can choose to study for an exam, or as a son or daughter, you can visit your mother who is in a hospital. So these are all conflicts that you are having between roles. All right. Groups are people who regularly and consciously interact with one another. Ordinarily, the members of a group share similar values, norms, and expectations. Examples include family, friends, clubs, and work groups. To belong to a group is to yield to others the right to make certain decisions about our behavior. And finally, social institutions. And this refers to organized, usual, or standard ways by which society meets its basic needs. And sociologists have identified 9 social institutions which are common to all societies, including family, religion, law, politics, economics, education, science, medicine, military, and mass media. All right, thanks for joining me on this journey into social structure and social interaction. I hope to see you back very soon. Bye-bye.